Welcome to the House Therapy, the podcast that helps you to create a home that you love to live in. I'm Nina Dwaron, owner and lead designer at ISO Design and Interiors. And each week, we're going to explore practical ways to help bring more beauty, function, and flow into your space. From design and staging to organizing, downsizing, and everything in between. If you want a home that truly supports your life and your family, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hello, I am so grateful to introduce a very special guest to you today. I was privileged enough to have met Christopher Batori a number of years ago when he attended one of my downsizing seminar. Not only did I get the pleasure of working with Chris and his parents, we became friends and I also became their team stager as Chris and his spouse was in the real estate business. Chris now lives in beautiful Spain, and I'm so grateful that he's taking the time to join me on this House Therapy podcast today. And welcome, Chris. How have you been? Tell me a little bit about what you've been up to.
Well, thank you for having me on this. I really appreciate that. And yes, absolutely, we're friends now. We started off as colleagues and so forth through the work, but definitely you're very good friends. So I appreciate you having me as part of this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time out of, the beautiful weather that you have in Spain. I don't know if you keep track of what's happening here, but we definitely have the white stuff now already.
Yeah.
I don't much love it, but do you miss it? Do you miss the snow?
No, it's funny. I was in town shopping at one of our favorite fishmongers, and people always ask me, "So, do you want to go back to Canada?" And then I show them what's on Facebook, and they're like, "Oh my God, look at the snow!" And I said, "You think I really want to leave this sunshine and good weather for that?"
Yeah, I know. I'm with you. I am with you. Stay there. This weather right now, I'm just like I've been in Canada for a long, long time, and the snow still surprises me every year. Like, too soon, not yet, not yet. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I wanted to have you on the show because I want to share, a personal story, not my own, but a personal story that is someone else's who has gone through the downsizing journey. Now, you didn't do that, but you certainly helped your parents to do that. So, when you think back to those days of helping your parents to downsize, what really stood out for you in your memory now?
I think how difficult it actually was. I thought it was just a matter of, well, when you're in real estate, what do? You sell a house, you buy a house, and that's it, right?
Right.
Life is easy.
Yes.
I think, going through that process with my parents to sell them their house, and not just to sell their house, but then to also downsize them to something considerably smaller and a completely different approach to life, was much more difficult and daunting than I thought it was going to be.
That's right, because remind me, how long have they lived in that house? Like you were raised in that home. That was your
Yeah.
childhood home, right?
Yeah, yeah. They bought that house in 1969,
Oh, wow. So
the
yeah.
year before I was born.
Oh, you and I were born the same year. We're the same
Yeah.
age.
Oh, okay. No further comment.
Yeah. Yeah, so that like they obviously they had lived in that house for a long time, lots and lots of memories, and they had a lot of stuff too, right? And your dad had, I remember, had so many tools.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
a what was he, a machinist or
He was a machinist mechanic, which
machinist?
meant that he had a ginormous amount of tools and big toolbox. And of course, everything served its purpose in the work environment,
Right.
but in the home environment, not so much.
Yeah, he hung on to that stuff because it was very sentimental to him, right? That was his entire career.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
now you and I met in the based on the intro that I mentioned, you and I met because you brought your parents to my downsizing workshop. Now, what made you do so? And at the time, what were you hoping that would do for you and for them?
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing, first of all, I still remember that really well, that workshop. It was so good. Um, and the mindset about being able to shift, from we're never leaving this house ever, they got to carry me out of here in a pine box, uh, to, oh yeah, we're going to sell and we're going to move was such a daunting exercise for
Mhm.
them and frustrating for, of course, myself. Seeing them, being overwhelmed and struggling in a big house that was no longer it was no longer manageable and it was becoming really counterproductive and in some ways kind of dangerous for them. Of course, they don't see it that way. They
Of
didn't see
course,
it.
of course.
And so that shift in mindset, like me saying it, their son, it wasn't the same as having a third party professional expert who had knowledge and experience with this tell them. So you telling them, for example, via this workshop versus me telling them had so much more impact. And I saw how I let that little crack of light all of a sudden appeared. Ooh, they actually listened to her.
That's amazing.
I gotta hire
Like after,
her.
I don't think I ever asked you, but after you left the workshop, were there anything specific that your parents said? Like, yeah, I know that you said you saw the crack and the slight shift, but like, how did you kind of get them on board after that workshop?
Well, uh, at the risk of sounding patronizing, I said, if Nina helps us to do this, I think this will make our life a lot easier. Because if I try to do it, it'll probably be a disaster.
Oh,
And so
yes,
I think what they took away, or I took away from that, is that if we bring somebody on board to help us, which wasn't even on the radar, right? All of
yes.
a sudden it seemed like, okay, this is more like doable. I don't have to do this alone.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
is a daunting process, especially when like your parents were so committed to their stuff and the
Yeah.
home that I remember, like, I think your dad was a DJ too. Like, there was
Mhm.
just so many memories in that home, like happy memories, like, because they did so much, right? Like, I remember they held a lot of parties in their
Oh
home.
boy. Yes. Did they ever? There were some good parties there.
I
It was
remember.
that, and when they moved there, it's kind of funny because they said anything north of Eglinton was farmland, right?
Oh my God.
And it actually
Times have
was.
changed. How times
So,
have changed.
so for them to move there away from everything they understood and they knew and their friends and their community and to go to nothing and knowing no one and a cow pasture was was pretty daunting, when I think about it with a young son with young children and being so far away from work because my mom worked downtown
Mhm.
and my dad worked out in Scarborough, so it made all that much more challenging stuff for them to do.
Well, I remember, well, where your parents used to live, their home, we now call that the city. It's no longer a pasture. So now when we started working together, like what did you notice in your parents that showed that the process was finally helping them to feel more settled and supported? Was it
Mm,
like, because I remember when I was working with them, your mom had so many beautiful stories to share. That's why I learned
yeah.
that, there were a lot of great fun parties at your home and your dad was a DJ. Like there were just so many beautiful memories that they created. But you know, what I was not privy to is that once we finish our sessions, what did
Mhm.
your parents tell you about how they felt about the entire process?
Um, well, with my mom, I saw like a flicker of excitement in her eye, right? Because they weren't exactly on the same page, my mom and dad, with regards to
Sure.
selling the house, as I think you remember.
Yes.
And he was kind of vocal about that. So that was pretty, on top of having to move, it was really daunting because they weren't on the same page for her. So she was always under a lot of stress and she was always worried what would my dad say, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so what I saw was that, I like to think of you sort of like a referee.
Yeah. Yes,
right?
it's so
And
true.
so you were able to sort of like manage my dad, of course, with my help, and then you were helping my mom too to relieve those memories, but
Yes.
to give that sense of excitement back to her. So what I literally saw was that spark in her eye. Oh my
Mhm.
God, this is actually fun and good, and I'm enjoying this, and now I'm excited about it. So I saw her shift more into that.
Good, good. I'm so happy to hear that. Now, one of
Yeah.
the things that I remember very clearly was that they, your mom specifically, wanted to save everything for you. Everything was like no, I want to save that for Chris. I want to save that for Chris. I want to see what Chris wants to do with this. So we started creating this huge pile of the Chris pile, right? And that for them was a bit of a struggle. And I remember that was a bit of a struggle for you too, because you didn't want the stuff. And that
Yeah.
is very typical and very normal in most families. And you needed, that help from me as well to guide them, to tell
Yeah.
them that, this is not what Chris wants or need or will use at this time.
Yeah, and I loved your strategy back then. And you know what? I still recommend you to people now who
Oh, you're
who
so sweet.
and I tell them about your strategy, which I found in that environment really helpful, which was you had was it the three pile? There was three piles. There was
Yes,
the sell pile, the keep pile,
yes,
and the donation no the donation
yes.
pile and the garbage pile.
That's right.
That's
That's
four piles, and you would with your little sticker, your tape, right?
right.
And before then, the mindset was, well, I'm keeping it for you. Well, no, I'm just going to throw it in the garbage. So, which is because I had nowhere to put it. And so I
That's
was trying to
right.
explain to them. So it caused this friction and that fear of not being able to move forward, right? And so when you presented your little structure, all of a sudden, my mom would say, "Oh, so we can sell this? Oh, good. It's not going in the garbage."
Yeah.
Or, "Oh, we can donate this and some people can benefit from this? Great. That makes me feel so much better than what my son said." So,
No, but it's so true because, you know, families like yours or parents like yours, they paid good money for all that stuff.
oh,
They
yeah.
they're treasures, right? And the idea has always been to pass it down for generations. And it's hard for them, right? Like that generation, your parents' generation, don't have the same philosophy as us where things are more disposable, right? We buy things that are trendy and then when they go out of trend, we get rid of them. But that was not the case for them. And it is a very tough conversation. And I was so happy that you brought them so that they could hear firsthand at the workshop what that meant, right? Because it's such an emotional time for the entire family, and then when you get the treasures involved, it makes it even more difficult of a conversation to be had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof, you can say that again.
Um, so now I know that both your parents have passed on now. Are there any moments or memory from that time that you hold close now that they're gone? Like, you know, the I the downsizing process and them moving into a beautiful condo, I think was a great transition, and they had a
Mhm.
beautiful space
Yeah.
that they downsized, beautiful and modern new space that they moved into. So,
Yes.
what do you think about that time now that they're gone?
Well, it just came to my mind, and I remembered um, because they were having like garage sales, and oh, we can make money at this, right? Well,
Yeah.
okay, they didn't make a lot of money. Um, but what was very interesting was a lot of neighbors that they had never met. Well, maybe they saw them walking down the street or driving down the street, but they never engaged or interacted.
Hmm.
They say, "Hey, how are you?" But they never became friendly or had each other over for coffee or anything like that. And I was like, "You never did? I mean, she just lives like just over there, right? And she
Yeah.
seems like such a nice person, right?" And so the process, what it literally did, was the neighbors would come over and they'd strike up these conversations. and they'd say, "Oh, you don't want to come up for a coffee? Like let's sit down and have, whatever." And I just saw them. I saw my mom like making all these new friendships,
Oh, that's
like
amazing.
literally like that, just by selling the house. Oh, that didn't happen over 30 or 40 years of staying there.
That's too
And
funny.
she kept in touch with those people after she moved, and they were asking, "Well, how is it in your new home, and how are you doing?" And so I thought that was really beautiful and amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. I didn't know about that. That's
It
yeah.
was it was completely unexpected.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. I'm so happy to hear that, even during that time that she was able to make some new friends and build some new connections. That's beautiful. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Um, well, now from your point of view, what part of the support that we provided made the biggest difference for them and for you?
Um, I think being physically present, like I said, sort of like that referee sort of thing.
Yes.
That was big. I think, but though to be a good referee or to be while you were present, you were very thoughtful and kind
Oh,
in your approach.
oh, thank you. Yeah, that was,
And of course, quietly you would come to me afterwards and say, "I need help with your dad," or something like that, right?
yeah.
But when you were with them, I was like, I don't know how she's holding it together. I would have yelled and screamed by now. Um, so I think that approach of like trying to, be fair with both of them and
Mm,
understanding of both of them and kind with both of them, and being respectful with both of them, they both really appreciated that. And I really appreciated it because I didn't have to now be, in the middle of, what your father said, what your mother said.
yeah, and because you're their son, it makes that causes more greater attention because you can't be that in the middle of the back and forth between them, right? And I always tell people this, like, you know, when working with seniors, it's kind of like with children, right? They behave differently with a third
Absolutely.
party versus their own kids and
Yeah,
family. It's completely different. And it
it
is
really
such
is.
an emotional time. For me, I love working with seniors because, I have parents too, and I just want to treat my senior clients as I want others to treat my parents, right? With kindness and respect and
Mhm.
beyond the referee, sometimes I feel like I'm a therapist or a coach because I get to listen to so many beautiful stories. And in the end, that's all they want to be able to do is share those memories. Like I remember
Yeah.
your mom showing me some of the beautifully embroidered linens from from back home, right? From her sister and whatnot. And it was just
Mhm.
so beautiful. And I can see how difficult it would be to let go of these things. But having to move into a two-bedroom condo, obviously she couldn't take all that stuff with her, right?
No.
But she was very happy in knowing that some of these beautifully hand embroidered linen was going to go to somebody else who's going to really love it and appreciate it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. So looking back, was there anything that you wish you had would have known earlier about helping your parents to make those tough decisions about their stuff and their home?
Yeah, I wish I'd known you earlier.
Well, you found
'Cause-
me. We found each other.
Thank goodness. My mom, my mom's favorite saying I still like to reference is, when the time is right, and uh, before we actually put the house up for sale, I mean, I had been having that house sale conversation with them for at least 10 years.
Really?
Yeah. It's
Wow.
not like we just started that conversation. It had happened years before that. And it was so frustrating to be a part of watching their slow decline because they're aging and they're having medical problems and so on. And you're watching them like literally a home that once brought them a lot of joy and safety now was causing them problems. And trying to get their mind around this really needs to be, you really need to move on, right? And it was years and years of no, 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 no. So, And so I wish, and by the way, when I say that I recommend you to people I know,
Hmm.
I have very dear friends in my exact same position with their parents.
Right now.
That having that conversation
Yeah.
and their parents say, no, no, no. I, and I give them, I told them what happened with you. And I said, here's her number, here's her contact information because you need
Oh, you're
somebody
so sweet.
to help you with that conversation. And obviously it took me a while to find you, but
Yeah.
I take that information and pass it on because I saw the value of having that third party being able to have that conversation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You know what I didn't ask you is that once they moved, were they happy? Were they happy with the move and into their condo with a much more simpler life?
You mean were they happier in their new home?
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, okay. Um,
Or
yes.
happy, not maybe not happier, just were they happy?
Yeah, I mean, it was much more smaller and more manageable.
Mm-hmm.
So it was easier for them. Also, the home that they moved to, I mean, they were quite intentional about the spot and the area that they moved to.
Yes,
Specifically, for example, their church there that they went to their whole life was literally 2 blocks away, right?
yes,
And walkable,
yes.
where that was never possible before, right?
That's right. That's right.
And they spent a lot of time at the mall across the street. They shopped there regularly. It was and it was all walkable. So
Mm-hmm.
now for them, instead of having to get in the car, drive in the snow or difficult weather to go do things that they really loved and cherished became so easy for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they really appreciated that. And another thing, for example, in their house, they had to go one of those, those mailboxes thing you have to go down the street to pick up your
Yeah.
mail,
Yes.
right? It's okay if you're, and I remember one time I was watching my dad. He parked the car in the middle of the road, opened the door into the oncoming traffic to go get his mail.
Oh no, that's
I'm
unsafe.
going, what are you doing? He's gonna run you over while you're picking up your mail.
Oh no.
So I mean, something even just as simple as just walking out the door. They
Mm.
still have to go walk out the door of the condo to go pick up their mail, but there was no street to walk onto, there was no car to get into, there was no weather to deal with,
Yeah. Yes.
right? All of a sudden, that became like so much more simpler for them and much safer, right?
Good. Yeah. Yeah. That eases your mind too. Like that there's,
Yeah,
they're safe, right?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
the stairs thing was a big deal. I
Yes.
mean,
Yes.
uh, so I'm glad that there was no more stairs for them to have to deal with.
Yes. I'm sure they were glad about that too.
And another interesting thing that happened later,
Yeah.
um, next door, the building next door, I don't know if you remember, that was like a seniors like condo,
That's right. That's right.
right?
Yes.
Remember that?
Like a
And
community.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, and so when it came time that my parents actually needed like help, like people to come and help them, they had resources them that I could hire,
Yes.
like right there. So
Yeah.
I met like a worker and then I brought her over, introduced her, we hired her like that. So I mean that just made life so much easier.
Yeah. I'm sure
Yeah,
that was very helpful.
it was extremely
Specifically,
helpful.
like I remember how your parents moved there before COVID. Like
Oh yeah.
how much before COVID? I can't remember now.
Was it 15 or 16? I'm trying to remember now. I think it was 2015 or 2016.
Was
So
it?
it was
Okay,
well before COVID. Yeah.
so just like a while, a few years before COVID.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, but
Exactly.
having been down there and with the help next door, I'm sure that was really helpful during that time too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Good, 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 good. I'm so happy to hear that they were happy and settled. Now, the reason why I invite you to come on this show today to talk about your own experiences, because I know that many families kind of delay this process because it is daunting and it is overwhelming. What would you say to someone who is seeing that their parents are struggling themselves and is, and don't really know to how to have or start this conversation? What would you recommend to them?
Wow. Well, this is what I say to my friends who are when they come and tell me their same stories, and I said, "Oh, I remember back then, the good old days." I said the process takes time. As I
Definitely.
mentioned to you, that we had already been having this conversation for years, right? So it's not that the first time you're going to have that conversation, they're going to be open and receptive.
For
Oh,
sure, for sure. But
so
consistency is key, right?
the
To keep
consistency
having
is
those
key.
conversations.
And I think being honest, because my parents, for example, had these grandiose ideas of what I was going to do to help them, right? Of course, they never told me that.
Of
They
course,
just
they just
assumed
expected
I
it.
was going to do whatever they asked.
That's right.
And so we would have these open conversations, like, and I would ask them, so, um, like, what are you expecting? Like, if you're going to live in this house till you die, well, like, what are you expecting from me? And then they would tell me, and I'd say, I'm not doing that. And I would say, like, I have a life, I have a wife, I have children.
Mhm.
I can't do that. I just simply cannot do that. And if I'm going to be 100% honest with you, here's what I'm going to do.
Yes,
If you're
yes,
okay with that, that's fine. But if you're not okay with it, let's discuss other options. And you don't have to make any different changes or moves right now, but at least kind of know what you're working with and
yes,
let it sort of like sink in over time.
yes. And I think it was even more difficult for you because you were doing this on your own, right? You didn't have other siblings to be able to lean on and get support from and, kind of rally back and forth either, right? Like you were completely doing this on your own.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, fortunately, I really had Nuria to help me,
Oh, yeah.
so
Yes,
I
for sure.
mean, yeah, she was really great with my dad. So
Yeah.
while I was great with my mom, she was really great with my dad.
Yes,
So
yes. But even then, like she's your spouse, right? Like there's only so much that she can influence as well, right? It really boiled down to you most of the time.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
well, that's true. You're right. Absolutely.
Um, so now for listeners who may be walking through a similar path right now, um, how, what are kind of the top three tips that you would offer to them through your own experience that could maybe help them as they go down this path with their elderly parents?
Top three tips for helping them to move,
Yeah,
or
yeah, like through this downsizing journey.
um, our generation, we just kind of want everything right here, right now,
Yes,
right? So, I would say number one thing is just be patient.
very good
Be
recommendation.
very, very
Patience is
patient.
very key.
Be understanding that, your parents or they've been through a lot in their life, for one
Mhm.
thing, which we could never possibly understand, right? And
Yes,
this is built into their very being and fiber. So when they tell you things or they get upset or they, counter you, there's probably a good reason for that.
yes.
So be patient, be very patient with them and just give yourself some time and space. And the second thing, now that I'm saying that, pressuring is a really bad idea.
It doesn't work.
It's kind of counterproductive,
It
actually.
is. Yes, yes.
So in the sense of being patient and understanding and listen to them, ask them, what are they afraid of? What is their how do they imagine their life going? Like how do they envision, the as somebody said, the back nine of their life,
Mm,
Mm. And listen to them and try and understand that, because if you don't, if you just say you got to go, we got to move it because of A, B, C, and D,
yeah,
you're going to back them into a corner, and that's going to be super counterproductive.
yeah.
That'll just slow things
That
right down.
friction.
Yeah. Um, and I mean, the third thing, like for me, is if you can engage a third party who is not their child
or or a good friend.
or a relative or a sister or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Somebody who's not like, tied to the outcome necessarily,
Hmm.
right? Who's a professional like yourself,
Yes.
then I would strongly recommend, as much as possible, removing the personal
Yes.
from this process.
Yes. Having someone who's impartial to the process is really
Right.
helpful because then they're not emotionally tied, like you said, to the outcome, right? Because like I time and time again, listen, I've had other people going through this process and they say, it's taken me 2 years to go through this stuff with my parents, right? 2 years is a long time for elderly
Yeah.
parents, right? You know, a lot of things can happen in 2 years. And so if you want to speed up the process, having that impartial third party work with your parents is going to move that process through a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it speeds it up. It also makes it less stressful.
Yes.
I mean,
For
this is a big
everybody
thing,
involved.
stressful thing for all of us,
Yes.
your parents, the children. So if you want to try and remove the stress from that equation, have somebody who's a third party.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for those tips. Now, you made a huge move. So you downsized as well. You moved from our beautiful city and country and all the snow and moved right across the world to Spain. Now, with this process, how did that change the way that you saw your own home and your own possessions?
Wow. It's a really relevant question, I have to say. Um, we when we moved, we also went through that. I used your system again. It was,
Yes.
very helpful. And of course, we also used your help to sell our investment property as well, which was honestly, I couldn't have done that without you.
Oh, thank you for saying
Um,
that.
and but we also went through, like, what do we want to take to Spain with us? It
Hmm.
was going to be a big effort and expense, I might add, to
Yeah,
to bring all that stuff overseas.
that's right.
I'm still sad that I didn't bring my Mustang, but
You thought
but
about it. There
but I
was
did
this.
I, I did look into it, and it was possible.
Yes,
But what we were going to do to cause ourselves less stress, because it was already very stressful going through,
yes,
this new cancer journey, and what could we do to make it simpler and less stressful for Nuria and for myself and our kids, right? Because they're leaving that home too, right?
that's right. Yeah.
So we did learn that, and we didn't bring a lot with us. Um, that said, I will be honest that Nuria loves to shop.
I did see a lot of new clothes.
So the house is kind of like refilled with things. Hey, listen, if you're ever open to coming to Spain and working here, let me know,
Okay.
because we might need your help here.
Okay. Okay. I would love to visit Spain. Visited Spain only briefly through a Mediterranean cruise a few years
Yeah,
ago, but it is so beautiful. I would
yeah.
love the opportunity to return. And I always said that when I return or when I visit Spain, I will look you up. Um,
But I
so
will also say that for me personally, I've learned from my parents' experience, and of course we sold a couple of homes too,
yes,
Nuria. And it's not about the stuff.
no, it's not.
I mean, there's a point in your life where you're working and you're accumulating and you're buying and think the house is filling up with stuff, or whatever, the garage. And then you go through these really traumatic life experiences and you realize, oh man, it's not about the stuff. Having and buying all this stuff is just, it might bring you like temporary joy and happiness, but
Yeah,
in the bigger things and scheme in life, it doesn't. And down the road, it's going to cause you stress
yes. And money.
and money too,
Yeah. But
which is
really,
stressful.
yeah, but really it's the memories, right? Like I know that you and Nuria did a lot of exciting, fun things. Like those are the things that you can take with you always, no matter what, right? It's the
Yeah.
memories and the adventures and all those those hikes and dances that you both did together, and those are the things that you can hold dear always.
Yeah,
The stuff will go away.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. 100% true.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, my last question for you, Chris, is that so now you're in Spain now, you're not no longer in the real estate business, but you are on a health and wellness journey. Can you share a little bit about what that's about?
Yeah, well, right now, I'm a certified health and wellness coach in functional medicine.
In what
And I
medicine?
started that, sorry,
What kind of medicine?
functional
Oh,
medicine.
function. Yes.
Yeah. And so I started that journey in September of 2022 when I did a year of online school to become a certified functional medicine coach. And then after that, I started my business, and it was going really, really well. I became board certified in the US, so now I'm internationally certified as well, which I was really happy about. And then, with Nuria getting sick, I decided to sort of put that on pause and just, live as much as I possibly could with her.
Hmm.
What got me into it though, because you mentioned before I was in the real estate, like with Nuria, right?
Yes.
So, prior to Nuria getting sick, my mom had been diagnosed with cancer as well, and she got sick, and of course, she eventually died from that.
Hmm.
And prior to that, the year before my dad died, he had been diagnosed with Parkinson's, and he declined, pretty rapidly. So, and of course, my brother, who I lost him in 2015 when he had a stroke. So I had gone through all these, difficulties and tragedies, and every time I was learning more, about health. Like, how did this happen? Why did it happen? What treatments or lifestyles or anything I could get my hands on, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
About health, so I could help. Let's say I could help my dad, or then I could help my mom with her cancer, right? And I was learning all these amazing things about health and wellness, right? And and then after Nuria was diagnosed, I was like, okay, I think I see the sign of the writing on the wall now,
Yeah.
because now I was learning about her illness, and it felt really good, and I became really passionate about health and wellness just in general. And I said, hmm, what can I do with this? Because this feels really good to me. I'm really
Hmm.
passionate about it. How can I help people with this, And when I found the health coaching, it's like it described me perfectly. And so I was able to maintain and keep myself in this health and wellness world that I was so passionate about, but now take what I was learning and apply it to helping people. So I thought, perfect, this is exactly where and how I want to be.
That's amazing. It's very
Yeah.
fitting for you for sure, knowing you
Yeah.
as I do.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm actually working on you know, um, having a niche, I guess, is very, very important when you're doing your business, right?
Yes.
And so after all these experiences, one of the mantras that I kind of try to live by is, things don't just happen to us. Maybe they happen also for us,
Yes. Oh my gosh.
right? Right? And
Yes.
so, um, and so I was on a networking call with other colleagues, coaching colleagues a few weeks ago, and they asked me to share my experiences with Nuria, right?
Hmm.
And so as I was sharing it, all these people on the call started putting up their hands and going, Chris, this happened with my mom. What do you suggest? What do you recommend? Or this happened with my brother and he has cancer. And what would you say? What would you recommend? And
Oh,
so I was answering all these questions, like, right? And it came from me so naturally. At the end of the call, the moderator said to me, Chris, I think you found your niche. Right?
there you go. There
And
you
so
go.
now I'm thinking to specialize in this cancer approach, right? For
Oh,
for patients and caregivers and loved ones.
yeah.
And on November the 18th, I was called to give a presentation about it to my coaching community.
That's amazing. In
Yeah,
Spanish?
so I'm pretty excited about that. What's that?
In Spanish?
No, it'll be in English.
Oh,
My coaching community is around the world. Yeah.
oh, that's amazing. Oh,
So when I think back to that statement, what I said about, things not just happening to us, they also happen maybe for us.
Mhm.
What can I do with this experience? Like, how can I turn this really, bad, tragic thing into something beautiful and helpful for other people?
Oh, well, Nuria and your parents are so proud of you. I know it. So good for you,
Thank you.
Chris. I'm happy to hear that you're on this healing journey and then helping other families to heal as well. It's such an important work that you do.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate you saying that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for your time today and, of course, for sharing your story and your experience with everyone. Now, if anyone listening to this episode has more questions about downsizing or their health and wellness journey, would you be open to having a conversation with them, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
For
fantastic.
sure.
Fantastic.
Um, I can give you I have a website that they can reference.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
please.
It's www.startfromhappy.com.
Fantastic.
And my email is chris@startfromhappy.com.
Great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to include the contact information in the show notes so that you don't miss
Okay.
it.
Okay.
So that way people can click on it and access and get to you quickly that way. Okay. Thank you
Oh,
again,
fantastic.
Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, remember, when you take care of your home, it will take care of you. Until next time, bye for now. Thank you for listening to the House Therapy Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, be sure to follow the show and share it with someone who would love it too. For more tips, resources, or to work with me directly, visit isodesign.ca. Until next time, remember, with a little effort, every home can be beautiful and every space can be functional. And remember, you deserve it.